So, welcome back to another Flat Out podcast. We are Frontiere Motorsport and we are back again for another video. It's been a long time, hasn't it, Bryce?
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like I've been doing quite a lot lately.
You have. I've been, well, I say I've been taking a break. Um, I've been getting my house sorted, so I am currently now in the new office.
Yeah. So,
Slash,
so, so for context, this is the first time we've ever done a podcast in the same room.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We've always done it.
In our
Yeah,
own, yeah.
in our own place, but this is the first time we've done it face to face. Not that you viewers can see, but you get the idea.
The start of a new era. Anyway, speaking of new eras, today's podcast is about, well, for me, it's about has F1 got interesting? Now, Bryce doesn't seem to think so. I do think so.
It's not that I don't think it's got interesting. I just think that it's artificial now. It's not about being on the limit. It's about managing the car's energy nowadays because of how poor it is at the minute in terms of that deployment.
Yeah, I do get that. For me, though, I think it's just more down to driver management. And I think that's what racing's more recently, that's what it's always been about. You look at pretty much any motorsport, look at your Formula E's. Most of the cars are pretty much identical. So it's just down to driver skill and how they manage the cars throughout the race.
I agree with you on that front. The Formula E has always been about the energy management, but I will add one little, really important fact to that. It's Formula E. It's not Formula One.
No,
If you look at the history of Formula One, Ross Brawn famously said it's a manufacturer war. It's about companies showing off the best ingenuity they possibly can to build the best vehicle they possibly can. Formula One has never been a same spec series. It has never been about. Now, I understand they want to make it closer. The budget cap has helped with that. It has made it a lot closer. But it's also about being pushing the limits and being on that limit every time they go out on the track. With this new hybrid system, they're having to kind of pull back to try and save the energy and deploy it where they can do to optimize themselves. And
yeah.
because of that, it's not, it doesn't feel like Formula One to me anymore.
See, I just think in terms of recent years, both through the Mercedes era and through the Verstappen era, I think we're starting to see a better Formula One. I mean, the first time in a long, long while, you're looking at these cars now, and like you said before about the Braun statement, we are seeing different technologies. I mean, look at what we're calling it now, straight mode. Is it called?
Yes. Or
Straight.
what was it before? Manual override mode or something.
I have no idea. Mom.
Yeah.
We are seeing different types of technology. We saw the Ferrari with the flip wing. We saw
which they've not used.
Which they've not used.
They've not used.
But there's teams who are dropping the rear plane. You've got teams raising the rear plane.
I love the Alpine rear wing. That's quite clever.
So, but we are seeing them different types of technology, and as an engineer, it's really good to see them. But also as somebody who watches Formula One or has restarted watching Formula One, it's nice to see that the racing's a lot closer now. I know obviously we've had as of recording this, we're on Japan weekend, but we've had two Mercedes.
Yes, Mercedes.
Basically both podiums both times.
Yeah, Mercedes have gone back to their dominant ways. But obviously, and the FIA have already taken steps to try and mitigate that because obviously we know Mercedes have their compression ratio trick where apparently I don't fully know how it works.
Allegedly.
Well, no. So what I've heard is that the compression ratio meets the standards at normal temperature, as in like when they first fire.
Yeah.
But when it gets to a higher temperature, I believe the compression ratio increases, giving them a little bit more power. I don't fully understand how that works.
Yeah.
But as of June, the FIA have said we'll be testing cars at 130 degrees. So Mercedes won't have that to fall back on now. There's also rumours, obviously, about the Mercedes front wing being a bit. Well, they're talking about how it might have two-phase active aero, as they're saying. But realistically, it's more of it's just not closing quick enough.
It's just a slower moving component.
Yeah. So
Which I don't see how that can give more performance.
it depends.
Because surely if your wing's open and then you're slamming on the brakes, surely you want that wing to act quickly because then you're getting your downforce on the braking.
Well, yeah. Again, I haven't very poorly prepared for this, but I've not actually done any research on what that entails and what they're being accused of on that front.
Yeah.
But we have got a close championship fight by the looks of it. Obviously, you've got the two Mercedes drivers who they're going to fight.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
And Kimi Antonelli, I think he's stepping up to the plate well.
Yeah.
George Russell on his kind of start to the Mercedes season, he was quite unfortunate. For me, I've always had a lot of hope for George.
Yeah, same.
And I think he did struggle in the opening years, but he's found his feet. But Kimi Antonelli, he's kind of coming guns blazing. I think having the car behind him has helped him out a lot.
100%.
Again, you've got McLaren, the reigning champions.
They're not doing too well.
They're not doing too well at the minute.
Piastri hasn't even started a race this season. Out of the 2 rounds we've done, he's failed to see the green light on both occasions, or the green flag on both occasions. Lando, obviously, what happened to Lando last week? He didn't finish, did he?
No, he. Fact checking. I'm sure did he have an issue on formation?
No, both of them didn't start the race, did they?
Yeah, I'm sure. Was it?
They both had some form of technical failure. I can't remember off the top of my head. Mike is doing the research as we speak. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are very well prepared here. I think this is probably more of a review or a preview for Japan, isn't it? At the end, but yeah. But then you've got Ferrari. My goodness, they've definitely stepped up recently. We're looking at they seem a lot quicker than they were. They've got Hamilton seems to have a new leash of life all of a sudden.
So sorry, just looking back to the Norris. He had battery failure.
That was it.
Yeah. That was it. I can't remember. I thought one of them had an issue on the start on the formation lap. Was that Piastri?
Neither of them made it to the formation lap, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, neither of them made it to the formation lap because you remember the grid was you just had the 2 empty slots where the found should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, neither of them made it.
But it's been a funny old season. I mean, God bless Broom, who currently works for AMR. AMR are not having the best of times at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, looking for a new team manager 2 races into the new season. If once Newey was announced, I did always think this was going to be a very interesting move because Adrian Newey is, don't get me wrong, one of the smartest minds in Formula One when it comes to aerodynamics.
Yeah. Building a car is a genius.
Yeah. But running a team takes a whole different.
It's a different mindset.
Yeah.
Which it would have been really, really good for kind of him to pull off, but I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not had the easiest of rides.
No, of course not.
It's the car has had its issues with obviously the vibrations and things like that.
A lot of it seems to revolve around the Honda power unit. From all the articles, it seems a lot of it is based on there's too much vibration from the engine. I mean, Adrian Newey said it himself. The drivers can't go more than 15 laps without
something like that.
Risking permanent nerve damage to their hands from all the vibrations. And that, to be fair, in this day and age of Formula One, you sit there going, how are we in this position? Everything's so well prepared. It seems weird to be in this position of having those types of issues. You think it would all be ironed out?
To be where a car is pretty much undrivable.
Yes.
To what the driver's stating.
They were talking about 4 seconds a lap in testing, being 4 seconds a lap off the pace. That is.
That's enough to put you out of qualifying.
It's 107% more, isn't it?
Well, even if you call it 110%.
Yeah. So maybe they found, because they've not actually been disqualified for any races, so maybe they did find that pace. But I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the car might be quick, but the problem is with the vibrations, they can't drive it for like a limited amount of time.
Didn't I believe they're hoping to have it all fixed soon in the next two races, but
Yeah.
I mean realistically they're going into Japan this weekend, the home of Honda, their manufacturer
Mm.
engine, and at the end of the day, if they don't have something in place to fix it, it's going to be quite embarrassing for them.
Yeah.
I didn't not nothing against Aston Martin.
Well, I was going to say, AMR will always hold a bit of a special place in my heart,
Yeah.
especially while Broom's there. Shout out to Broom, he's currently working at the minute.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a funny one with AMR. But going back to what I was saying before about all the different types of technology and that, you've got, I think I briefly mentioned this to the other day, about McLaren's rear wing and the fact that the people were saying that the rear wing was flexing too much. And that's why obviously last season they were dominant and why they're getting this extra performance. Now the wing passed the testing, but then you can clearly see it being moved under load. So people look at it and go, well, what's happening here? Why is it passed? And I read that it's down to how they've laid the carbon fibre in terms of the weave pattern.
Yes, you did tell me about this.
And I just find that so fascinating. It's like such a simple thing of how do we actually the part is there,
Right.
all the dimensions are there, but how you construct it can give it all these different types of
I
characteristics.
mean, there's a few things with that. Like you look back at last year with their phase changing brake cooling system,
Yes.
which was mind blowingly smart to to come up with. And it's a shame it's been banned this year, but it's just amazing to see. But so a few years ago, my family ended up going to McLaren Woking,
Yeah.
and they ended up talking to Senna's old engineer. I can't remember his name for the life of me. And they basically turned around. My family turned around rather ignorantly,
Yeah.
and went basically, "Do you guys cheat?"
You can.
I'm like, "You seriously asked a multi-million-pound team whether they cheat?" And to be fair to the engineer, he turned around and he went, "We don't cheat. We we interpret the rules differently."
Yeah, I mean that. I mean, even going back to when we was at motorsport college and uni, it's one thing that you always got taught. It's a case of you don't look at the rule book and say, "Well, this is what we can't do."
You go,
You look at the rules and go, "Well, it doesn't say I can't do this."
yeah. It's just then when the officials turn around and go, "Well, that's not in the spirit of in the sport,"
Yeah.
and you go, "Then write that."
Yeah, pretty much. Now I'm just having a quick look here at the results of both the Australian and the Chinese Grand Prix, which is currently the only two races which have
Yeah.
been completed.
I mean, Mercedes won two,
It's a Mercedes 1-2 for
Ferrari
both.
3-4.
Yeah, pretty much. So they are looking like the stronger team. But one thing that I'm glad to see is looking at the gap between first and second place. For the Australian Grand Prix, it was 2.9 seconds between first and second. Chinese Grand Prix, it was 5.5 seconds between first and second.
I am gonna throw a hole in that.
Go on.
Then you look to P3.
Yeah, well,
there's 25 seconds between first and the third.
Yeah.
In China, and there's 15 seconds. It kind of feels like 2016 again.
Right, I get that. But if we look back to the Verstappen era, how far ahead was Verstappen to the rest
That's
of the
a very good point. And
he was 15 seconds ahead of second
2023 was a season where it was genuinely you could have put money on Verstappen winning every race.
Yeah. And you probably wouldn't have got good odds because it's a normal certainty.
Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty much inevitable that he was going to win every single race in 20. Was it 23? Was it 22? I can't remember. One of those 2 years.
Definitely 23.
Was it definitely 23? Oh,
because I mean, Abu Dhabi 21 was the fiasco.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Then obviously 22 was his first season, but pretty much 22, 23, maybe even 24.
No, 24 was close. McLaren came back in the last second.
The last second.
Well, in the last half of the year.
Yeah.
They came back in.
But definitely 23 and 22 as well.
One of them, it was literally just max.
Yeah.
Max. Insert Supermax. Please don't do that.
No.
So it was.
Yeah, and again going back to kind of what I was saying originally. All this technology that is now kind of coming in now there has been things throughout the years of like, the DAS systems and things
The
come and
dual
go.
axis was really smart. I was a big fan. Okay, there, as a fan of the Mercedes team, even I question the legality of that. I must be honest.
Yeah, because you're effectively the biggest rule breaker for me is the fact that it's not a fixed steering wheel.
No, there was nothing wrong with that. That wasn't the problem. The problem with the dual axis was, so there was not. There was not. All it said in the rules was you weren't electronically allowed to control the toe,
But you could
but you could
physically
do it, yeah, mechanically. There was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. The problem is in the rules it said you're not allowed to alter ride height. Now you know just as well as I do. If you adjust toe,
Yeah,
you adjust the ride height
yeah,
in most scenarios.
yeah. Unless your wheels are running true zero camber.
Yeah,
But then if obviously
but you
if you're
wouldn't
running
run true. If you've got caster on that vehicle at all,
caster or camber,
yeah,
then
you're going to be adjusting.
Soon as you change the tracking, it's going to change
It's
the ride height.
not a significant amount, but you will be adjusting it. So technically, it is a ride height device at that point. But I guess the ruling comes then if they call it a ride height device, it's a problem. But if they don't, then because McLaren had this problem a couple of years back with their third brake pedal, because they were fine. The rules said they weren't allowed a steering system, and they tried to argue it was a brake pedal, but they called it a brake steer. And then the FIA turned around and went, "You had full intention of this being a steering device, so you can't have it."
Yeah.
And that's where that was banned. So, what are we looking at now?
I'm just trying to find. Where is it now?
We should probably do research before these.
To be fair, I think this is the first podcast we've done just off the fly.
Oh yeah, 100%. We literally just went, "Do you want to do a podcast?" Yeah. What should we do it on?
Was actually sat in a cafe. We was discussing. I was like,
yeah, we genuinely
was having a debate as we are now, just in the cafe, and we thought, hold that thought.
Yeah, we were like,
fire up the mic.
This could be a mod. This could be a podcast.
Let's get going.
Like we initially discussed. In fact, I tell you what, we'll get a behind the scenes discussion of this. We initially discussed this about how F1 is now compared to how it used to be, and whether we think it's improved or whether we think it's all artificial now.
Which I think it's gone in a better direction.
I think it's gone in a better direction
for the spectator side of things.
Yeah,
I think the racing is more engaging.
And I think I'm not denying the racing's better. I must be honest. I watched Spain. That Hamilton Leclerc battle was fantastic. It was
Spain,
not Spain.
I'm gonna say we've only had
China. China. When Lewis and Leclerc was fantastic to watch. Some of the best pieces of racing I've seen in a while, where both drivers were really respectful of each other, and it was good racing. A lot of drivers could learn from that.
Yeah.
Not naming anyone.
And as we've got the Max Verstappen wiki page up.
Let's not.
But yeah, it's this is what I wanted to see.
Mind you, did you hear about Max recently when he did Nürburgring? Did you see that?
I saw that he did well and then got disqualified
because he used an extra set of tyres.
Is that what it was? An extra set?
So they were allowed 6 tyres for that weekend. Max's team used 7, or I can't remember what the team was called. But yeah, they used another extra set of tyres, and around the Nürburgring, that's a significant gain.
A massive gain.
Exactly so.
A massive gain. Now, going back to Formula 1. Going back to Formula 1 and Verstappen, sadly, we're talking about obviously the 2023 era. Now, out of all the races, how many is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 races. No. Oh. Out of all the races, we'll say, there was 3 races that he didn't win. So he comes second in Saudi, second in Azerbaijan, and I said Azerbaijan. So he got two seconds, and then a 5th in Singapore.
So he got a podium in every race apart from Singapore.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is nuts.
No comment.
But that was pure dominance, and this
Yeah,
is what I
yeah.
was saying about spectators.
Yeah, because the problem is, like, even comparing 23 to 2016, even 2016 was more entertaining because at least you had a fight.
Yeah.
With 2023, there was nothing. It was just Max, and there was no one who could keep up with it.
Yeah.
And that kind of ruined
That's what I
any
mean.
form of excitement.
It ruined the excitement of watching F1 in that 2023 season because all you had was Verstappen when
even the battle for second
Yeah,
was
second.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
285 points against 234.
Yeah.
Even that wasn't that entertaining. The next interesting fight was Alonso and Leclerc.
In fact, it's more than double the points, isn't it?
Literally, P4 was the most interesting battle that year.
Yeah.
And it ended in a tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, back to
back
this
to the
year.
thing. So I think it's overall F1 is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's just what I think.
I just don't like. I think the drivers aren't enjoying it from what the impression's being given. Yeah, sure. Leclerc said he had a really good fight with Lewis, but do you think like they're not pushing the limit in terms of their physical ability?
I think it's more like I mentioned before about managing the car.
Yeah.
More than outright kind of pace and speed.
Yeah.
I think it's more about managing the car, which yes, from a performance standpoint, isn't ideal.
Mm.
You want to be pushing driver and car 100% all the way. That's in an ideal world what you want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see close racing if you're going to go to that point of view.
But
soon as you get to a point where you say, right, we're going to take off the reins of kind of what you can and can't do with the cars. So if they turn around and said, right, for the straight mode, you're only allowed one set of rear wing, one set front wing.
Yeah.
We're going to stricten up all the regulations again. Go racing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're just going to get the same again. Whether it be Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, you're going to get a dominant team who are just going to stay there the whole season, and it's going to be the same results week after week.
But then look at other series that do something similar. I mean, I'm going to toot my own horn here, but look at the British Touring Cup.
Yeah.
Different spec series, all drivers are on the limit all the time. Like, I don't think there is actually a racing series out there which is more on the limit than British Touring Cup. 15-lap dashes, where everyone's banging wheels and bumping into each other, just trying to get that little extra bit position.
Yeah.
And it is close racing. It always goes down to the wire. I think every season goes down to the last race.
Yeah.
Virtually every year.
And that's what you want. I mean, I remember coming towards the end of last season, and it was really engaging watching Piastri and Norris fight out. Now, fair enough, I know it's from the same team, but it was nice to see that the title hasn't been decided from like Mexico and like 4 rounds, 5 rounds from the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it might change this year.
When was it where Verstappen
had it all decided? I swear it was Vegas. Or was it Qatar?
Vegas.
Might have been Qatar.
Well, either way, what's that? 5 rounds from the end.
Yeah.
So he knew. Bear in mind, the calendar's only 20 odd races long.
23, 24?
It's usually 23, 24. It's 20 odd races long, and you knew 5 races from the end that you was going to be world champion.
Yeah, all you had to do was finish. Yeah.
It's just boring.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't even need to finish.
Mm-hmm.
He could have DNF'd the rest of the season. Now, bear in mind, 5 into 20 is like, nearly a quarter. So he knew three quarters of the way through the season that he was going to be world champion. So then, for the final quarter, he didn't even have to sit in the car and he still would have won.
So my next question to that is, do you think it's too long, the series? Or do you think we'll go back to the old days, back in my day?
Back in my day,
when there was only 16 races in a season.
No, I think the amount of races is good. One thing I'd like to see, and I don't know whether you agree with this or not. I think the races should be shorter. I would much rather see a British GT, British touring car format where you have 2 shorter races than one big race. because it gives more of a chance to every driver to get more points.
From a fan's point of view, I can see the logic in it. From a person in the industry, I would be pulling my hair out every weekend.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The engineers will have to like.
And then if
work
something
the
happens
stop
in one of the races, you like, especially if you do it all in one day, or if you did, the only way you could do that is if you did a sprint start.
Yeah, it's similar to sprint style where it's like you know you do your quali on the Friday. I mean, you could even do it back to.
It's like British Touring Car has just switched over to a sprint race to define the grid now.
Yeah.
So now,
I think that's a good idea.
If we got rid of FP2, we do. I still don't really fully know how it's going to work, but I believe FP2's gone, and then we do some form of quali that day.
Yeah. So
and then we do the
sprint race,
and then we do the free races as the next day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, you imagine if we had the same touring car version where you have to draw them out of a hat.
Yeah, I know. Well, is it
top 10?
Top 12.
Top 12 get drawn out,
and then it's a reverse grid from whoever it picks. So
that'd be so funny.
It would be quite funny. I've always been an advocate for reverse grids because it's just chaos.
But again, no, I think then if you turn around and said, right, for the Belgian Grand Prix we're going to do reverse grid, I guarantee the viewer numbers for that race would skyrocket because it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's more action. That's from a spectator point of view. I mean, how many people do you know where you'll go to a race weekend, whether it be on TV or actually in person? All people want to do is see crashes.
There was a lot of people like that. Yes, there was an awful lot.
I would say probably half the people want to see wheel to wheel bumping, smashing, crashing.
Go and watch Touring Car. That's my advice to you.
But you know what I mean.
But yeah,
that's what people want to see. They don't want to see. Oh,
a lot of people
happens 15 seconds ahead of everyone.
A lot of casual fans aren't interested in that side of things now.
No, I get you. You know, your diehard motorsport fans obviously have a bigger interest in terms of the strategies and what goes on in the racing and working out.
But let's be honest, that's not what your Liberty medias are looking at.
No.
They're looking at the casual fan. They're looking at the ones who pop in occasionally to go, oh, that's interesting. I mean, they've just taken over MotoGP, haven't they? And they're trying the same thing with that. But they've annoyed a lot of diehard fans by taking Phillip Island out of MotoGP now.
Oh.
And now they're going to be racing at Adelaide.
Yeah.
The street track.
Yeah.
And MotoGP bikes.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time, like me and Lam talk about it quite a lot because Lam's a diehard MotoGP fan. And we both agree that it's very difficult to upset riders, commentators, fans, and race organisers all at once.
Yeah.
This decision to take Phillip Island out of MotoGP has done that. Everyone is upset with it. I've not heard a single person say, actually, do you know what? Racing MotoGP bikes at Adelaide's a really good idea.
Yeah.
No one seems to agree with it. So, But anyway, back in the case of this, I'm curious to see where the rest of Formula One goes this season.
Yeah. The only thing that I really don't like with this season's Formula One is, and I think this is criminal to happen really, is when you're going down the straight, you deploy your battery gets deployed, you've used everything, your top speed then goes down.
Yep. By like, what is it, 50k?
It's a lot.
This is what I mean though. And this is that, what do they call it? Super clipping or something?
I have no idea.
I can't remember. But this is what I mean. Like if you've got two drivers fighting each other, one will deploy his energy to get past. When he gets past, his battery's done. The car that he's just passed now has all the energy. Will then pass that car and have the same problem.
Yeah.
While he was being passed, the other driver's harvested his energy and now can attack again.
Yeah. But again, that goes down to managing the vehicle and things like that, which again goes on to my point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I don't know, it's just, I think when you look at the pinnacle of motorsport and you go, you can have your top speed, but as soon as your battery's done, you're going to start slowing down.
Yeah.
If you say that in Formula One, you shouldn't have to say it. You shouldn't have to say that your car's going to slow down before you reach the end of the straight.
No, absolutely not.
Like, yeah, you might have used all your battery, but you shouldn't be slowing down.
No. What I will say though, is one thing I do like, and a lot of people are going to criticize me for this. I like the unreliability of Formula One at the minute. I like the fact that there are cars not finishing races due to mechanical faults, because I think that makes it a bit more interesting.
I think over the course of the season it can make it more interesting, but I think for the immediate races, I don't think it's.
I mean, I
It's
know
like-
having been someone like even in sim racing where I've had technical failures, whether it's been my wheels cut out or my internet's dropped off, which I don't want to count how many times
I
that's
mean,
happened.
I don't normally do this, but I am going to insert a clip here of a moment that Bryce had this morning, where the car just got obliterated from the middle of nowhere.
Cut the clip here. Mind you, what I will say about that is that was your internet, not mine.
It wasn't internet.
Well, no, it wasn't. But yes, that was
wasn't
that was a technical failure of some sort.
For anyone that hasn't seen the video,
well, it should be on there now.
Yeah, but if I don't know, you might not be watching the video, just listening.
Good point. Yeah.
So he came round the corner, straightened up in a train, but there was no
only two cars.
no
There's
contact.
me and the other fellow.
There's a big gap between everyone, and then it's almost like an invisible car has just hit him from the side, torn the rear left wheel off, and sent it into the next postcode.
I still don't know what happened with that. I've never experienced anything like that.
Fortunately, it was only a practice session, but
I mean, if that was a race, I would have been raging.
Yeah. But anyway, back to racing. I don't agree with you with the unreliabilities.
Really?
I think that the fact that this diversity is opened up between the teams in what they can and can't do has developed closer racing. Yes, the battery situation isn't ideal, but it's promoted closer racing. Now, the last, I would go as far as say, 10 years? For the last 10 years, close racing has always been an issue.
Like, because of the aero, it's been difficult to get close, yes.
I mean, even down to...
it's longer than 10 years.
Even down to Mercedes with the dirty air when they were dominant. If they weren't in the front two...
Yeah, because their car was built for clean air.
Yeah.
And they couldn't...
But it's always been an issue, so...
No, and everyone else built their car for combat.
For combat.
That was such a... Sorry. I love the F1 film, but that line was just...
Yeah.
Magical.
Yeah, and the fact that they built an aerodynamic car
to work in dirty air. It's like, what did you do? We need to know.
Yeah. Can you email Formula One with the
outcome? Tell Adrian Newey, because we have no clue how that works.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I like it though, because that's just another element. I mean, look, maybe it's just because of Verstappen's DNF and from technical failures. But...
Yeah, I think that was a bonus. I mean, I had a little chuckle to myself when I saw him. It was like Verstappen dominance in the N24.
I remember.
And I was like, oh no! And then it come up Verstappen disqualified. I was like, oh, okay.
I remember reading the group chat during China when he was pulling along, because the group chat's really getting tired of Mercedes dominance already. And they were like, pull over, just stop on track, just stop on track, just cause a safety car, do something.
Crash gate.
Yeah.
Crash gate.
And he didn't, and everyone was really disappointed by it.
Yeah.
But I like it because but the other thing I will say is, we talk about Formula One being the pinnacle of motorsport, let's be honest. I'll be personally honest, I don't think it is anymore. But the one thing I will say is, how does something become a pinnacle in the first place? You push the boundary. You go and do something which everyone is struggling with, and you perfect the technology.
Yeah, I think it's always been the leader of single-seater racing. It always has been. But I think in terms of example of motorsport, I think the other divisions are.
Yeah.
The catch on. You look at WEC, right? I've really enjoyed WEC over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
it's been so interesting. You've got cars doing the unthinkable. Rallying's been getting.
It's going to get really good next year.
We had the other month. What was it? A rally. I was going to say rally 4. It's a rally 3 car.
Yes.
Won a stage.
That was that kid. That was
outright.
I think I've seen this clip, and the guy pulls up, and they're like, "Congratulations, you got fastest!" And he's like, "What?
What?
Huh?"
So, I know obviously it's an F1 podcast, but in WRC you've got your WRC one car, or your Rally one, which is your WRC cars.
Your
What
big
you
leagues.
see all your top guys racing, your Pumas, your Yaris's,
And then you got your
obviously.
Lobes, your OJs, your Robin Peras.
Yeah, you've got all them. You've then got Rally 2. Now, Rally 2 is the R5, so I'll throw a couple of pictures up as we're flying through here. You've got your Rally 2s. They are basically a slightly reduced power WRC car, Rally 1 car. Slightly less aero, as you can see on the rear wings. Less aero on the back. Less kind of electronic technology, a bit more raw. But it's a similar engine, just slightly less powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You've then got I'm going to skip a division, go to Rally 4s, which is what
Wasn't the whole point of
your
the Rally
R2s.
3s, though?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So your Rally 2s have been front wheel drive. So your Rally 2s are all wheel drive, same as your WRCs. Your Rally 4s are the new kind of R2s, which is front wheel drive, 1 litre turbos, less, just under, I think it's just under 200 brake. I think it's around 150. Again, I'll insert below. Around that power, sequential gearboxes, a little bit of suspension, brakes, all the rest of it, a bit of trickery. Your Rally 3s was kind of the stepping stone between the two. So your Rally 3 cars are basically an all-wheel drive Rally 4 with a little bit more power. So it's not in the same league as an I keep calling them R5s. Rally 2s.
You see, I've always called them R5s.
I've always called them R5s. It's basically it's not a wide body. It's the same kind of silhouette as your road cars, your Rally 2s. It's not stanced out. Still got similar suspension to your Rally 4s, but it's just got all-wheel drive and a little bit more power. Very, very little more power.
Yeah.
So you've got a guy in, call it 200 brake, all-wheel drive. Was it a Fiesta? I think it was a Fiesta.
I don't know.
So a guy in that car, which is effectively a novice vehicle, has gone and won an outright stage, not only beating all the Rally 2s, which there'll be quite a few.
But he beat the likes of Chris Ingram in the Rally 2 category.
He beat all them in the Rally 2s.
And then he's also beaten the top class drivers like Loeb, OJ, Robin Pera, Greensmith.
Yeah, he's beat everybody. Now I know there's a few dropouts throughout the stage.
Even so, though. Yeah, well, hang on, where did he do it?
Oh,
if he's done it on Monte Carlo and it's covered in ice,
no,
surely that would be an
No.
advantage to have less power.
I am doing a quick Google.
Don't worry, we can. I'm sure they can hear the keyboard going.
I know. I love this keyboard.
I don't.
What am I doing now?
Well, apparently putting emojis into the group. I don't know. Sorry, we are heavily off topic here, but we will get to the end of it.
It was Monte Carlo.
It's going to be an ice stage then. It would have been in the ice where he would have benefited from having less power.
Yeah. So let me go up here.
Yeah, you've already said that.
So yeah, your Rally 3s, I've just got here. So it's all-wheel drive. Pretty much the same as an R2. It's between a 1.3 and a 1.6 turbocharged.
Subclass.
Less than 250 brake.
Yeah.
So it's not actually. Oh, there we go. So the Fiesta, which I believe is what he did it in, was 215 brake.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
He definitely benefited from the conditions, but even so,
I know there's a few crash outs though. So let me have a look. The victory covered was snow covered icy road, Rally 3. Yeah.
There you go. Told you.
That's nuts.
Monte Carlo is a different kettle of fish.
But still,
mind you, you see it this year. It was proper Monte Carlo weather this year.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Formula One.
Yeah. I think this video is probably just going to be titled "Our Little Rant." At the end of the day.
I'm not calling it that, but if you got this far, yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, I think to round things up, I think Formula One, personally, I think it's going in the right direction. I think the racing's getting closer, which is what people want. You know, it's like these WRC moments that get people talking about the sport, and I think it's healthy for the sport to have things to talk about it.
Yeah,
If it was like the 2023 era,
there's nothing to talk
there's
about.
nothing to talk about.
No.
Verstappen wins again,
Mhm.
and you move on to the next round. There's nothing interesting. I don't think you could tell me one thing that happened memorably in that season.
Well, I did start watching F1 properly after 21, so probably not. But to my
Yeah.
memory now, I don't remember any.
But,
In fact, the only thing I remember is Verstappen locking up and going straight on in Singapore when
well,
Russell
yeah,
won the race.
yeah,
And
and
that's probably the only thing I can remember.
which again is because it was a different winner.
Yeah.
So
I
that
can't-
sums up my point.
Yeah.
I get what you say with the whole kind of unreliable cars. I don't quite agree with that because I think you don't want to look at a motorsport and go, why are the cars always breaking?
But we did in the 70s and the 80s. And even in the 90s and the early 2000s, to be fair, we had mechanicals.
You're always going to get mechanicals, but you
Yeah.
don't want regular mechanicals.
I'm not saying regular's a good thing, but I think the occasional one's not a bad thing.
I mean, I've just took it off.
I mean, when was the last time you saw a Mercedes have a proper DNF due to a mechanical failure?
Last season.
Did that happen last season?
I'm 90% sure it did.
Oh, well, ignore me then.
Let me just get back to. I'm sure it was the first race of the year. Here we go. So you had
Hadjar, Bottas, Alonso didn't finish. Stroll was 15 laps down, which to me is a DNF as well.
Yeah, because he come into the garage and then went back out, which I didn't think you could do that.
I didn't think you could do that.
Now, unless I'm tripping, I'm 90% sure when I watched that Grand Prix, he was in the garage. So
For 15 plus laps, yeah.
One thing that I'm noticing is where's Norris? Oh,
Norris actually finished that one.
Oh, is it the Chinese Grand Prix?
Yeah, they double DNS.
Here we go.
Like, who didn't start?
Right. So this just proves my point.
Yeah.
So going back to the Australian Grand Prix, there was 2 didn't start, and a further 3. Well, call it 4 with Stroll. 4 that didn't finish. That was 6 cars that didn't finish the race. Chinese Grand Prix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars either didn't start the race or didn't finish the race.
4 didn't start. 3
didn't start, 3 didn't finish. That's poor.
I think that's good. I think that's good for the sport. I don't know. I don't mind it.
I just think if you get that throughout the whole season, you go.
Let's be honest. I mean, technically, if you go back to Australia, let's remember Piastri didn't start the race because of a technical failure. He did it because he put it in the wall on the formation to the grid.
Yeah.
So that was that wasn't even a technical failure. That was just a driver error.
Yeah.
For this one, yeah, China. I don't think anyone had anything like that. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I just don't think it should be happening in that level of motorsport.
I do think it makes it a bit interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah. Anyway,
I think that concludes the video. Thanks very much for watching, listening. However you go through the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for the rant.
Thank you for listening to the rant. Videos should start picking up again now. Obviously, I'm now living in the house, so I've now got all my computers back in order. Everything is back fitted how it should be, if not better. So I'm good to go. Bryce has always been good to go. He's been pretty much keeping the channel afloat for the last year, 6 months, 8 months.
Lost count.
It's been a while. That's probably why I've not been in a lot of videos recently. But
I think they've all been solo videos lately.
I was going to say most of the videos recently have just been yourself. But anyway. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you did like the video, leave a like and subscribe. The subscribers do help us a lot. Obviously, it gets the videos out there for more people to see. So
just gives us a chance to do. Gives us a chance to enjoy it. So.
Yeah, and like you said, it just gives us a chance to enjoy even more what we do. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.